Syracuse head coach Gary Gait, Owen Hiltz, McCool. Get a quick opening statement from Coach, and then we'll take questions. Coach.
Yeah, that was a heck of a game. Tell you, Harvard came in ready to play, jumped all over us, and just had an outstanding game, and great job by their coaching staff and their team. The one thing I'll say is our guys believed in each other, trusted each other, and found a way to win. And, as a coach, that makes you so proud to have guys that don't give up. And these guys have never given up. Even when we've lost games, we always try and find a way to fight back and give ourselves a chance. And I think all those past games when we did lose, but we kept playing, paid off today. And, once the crowd got into it, it was like having an extra player out there. They were outstanding. Reminded me of the good old days. It was awesome. So just an incredible job by the starters to the guys on the bench. They all believed and trusted and got it done. So I'm very proud.
Questions?
Gary, what was your message throughout the game as things kept getting more and more adverse? It felt like Harvard was controlling the game. You guys had a lot of turnovers, but what was your message to?
Oh, I think it was simple. Like the whole time we were just like, next play. It was like, let's get the next one. One at a time. We knew what it was like, one stop at a time, one goal at a time. And that's all we talked about, really on the field every time, we got scored on. It was all right, we got the next one. And, and then at halftime we regrouped and there was, looking in everybody's eyes, nobody gave up, and they were ready to go. So.
Just to follow up on that, Gary, John Mullen all year has put up numbers. He's dominated. In the first Harvard game, he won 28 faceoffs and
Yep.
didn't equal a win. Just how important was he to keep giving you those possessions?
Incredibly important. Like if we don't have those extra possessions, one of our issues were turnovers. Like we just weren't moving the ball well, and 20 turnovers was we were top 3 I think in turnovers per game, and all of a sudden we have a game where most of them were a lot of unforced errors. We just weren't clicking. But to have Johnny go out and just keep getting us the ball back, and we got a couple goals off the face-off. So it's just. From the last time we played Harvard, his focus was keeping the ball every time we won a face-off, giving us an opportunity to score a goal after every one. So he did that again today, and he did it exceptionally today. And that made the difference. It's, probably the one goal difference was the fact that he really didn't turn the ball over at all on the face-off unit. When we won it. We got opportunities on the offense.
How much of a turning point did you feel like the Peyton Anderson goal was in the third quarter, where you hadn't given up a goal yet in the third, and especially to score another one right after that? Just kind of that moment in itself. How important is that?
I think you could look at a lot of moments in that. You don't know which one was, the most important, but. Certainly the last one was probably the most important. But once the crowd got into it and our players saw that things were working, they just kept playing hard and it worked out.
Coach, what did Luke Rower bring to this game with the 2 unassisted goals in the first half and then 2 more on the start of your 5-goal run, the last goal in that 5-goal run? What did he bring today?
Well, they weren't sliding a lot. So that was their game plan, obviously, like show and get back, and then when you do double, stay on it and try and cause a turnover. So, for him to go and bury those goals were huge, just to keep us in the game. And when we needed one, he got one too. So he was fantastic. One of his best shooting days, 4 goals for him on 9 shots is awesome, spectacular. So,
Owen, you had 1 goal today. It was obviously the most important goal of the day. What was kind of going through your head, right before the face-off, heading into overtime? Like, what were you and the guys kind of talking about before, John took the face-off in that first overtime period?
We did just go on the big run, so we were pretty confident going into the overtime, and we knew Johnny was going to get us the ball. He's doing it all game. So, our message was just get a good look, and that's pretty much what happened. Ball went in the net, and that's a game.
Owen, can you recall a time where the offense was in a rhythm like it was in that fourth quarter, just blazing through in transition? Just how did you get to that point where you guys were just scoring seemingly at will there in the fourth quarter?
Coach March kind of gave us a green light to go fast and play fast. We needed to score goals, and we had some LSM step up that scored huge goals that are definitely crowd pleasers and get everybody involved. It's definitely a juice goal, in my opinion. So I credit all the guys. I didn't play as great as I usually do, and I credit the rest of the guys on the offense and the defensive end, kind of keeping us in that game and just getting us back into it. And I just guess I put it in the back of the net last.
What was it like weathering through the early part of the game when you guys were struggling as well? And just, were there any key figures you were trying to, bring you guys together in the huddle or really try to get you guys moving in the right direction?
Yeah, I think we started a little shaky. We just had a bunch of unforced turnovers, kind of just threw the ball into nowhere. We had Sam English and Kane Cole in the locker room kind of take the offense and defense, the whole team, and kind of set us straight and told us that, hey, we're good lacrosse players, we're a good team, this is what we live for. And then the coaches said the same thing right after, and it just started clicking.
I'm going to go with Dan and Connor.
Jimmy, you were talking with Coach O after the game just about heart and how much that meant at the half. Just what was that conversation, and how did it kind of set you guys up for that success in the second half?
Yeah, we talk a lot as a defense of just, as Owen said, making the next play. And, at the start, it didn't necessarily go our way, but all credit to the guys in front of me and Coach O. They never lost faith in me personally, which was huge. If they trust me, I trust myself. Guys stepped up and made huge plays from top to bottom. We've had a bunch of short sticks step up in the later half of the season, and some young guys who, aren't used to maybe even playing that position, and they've been huge. So, just being able to trust every guy on the field at all times, and it's been huge for us, and playing at the speed of trust. So.
I'm going to go Connor and Rachel.
Hey, Owen, do you think that that man up in the fourth quarter, kind of early on, where you guys scored those 3 goals, do you feel like that's what you guys needed to get back in your flow?
Scoring goals usually gets the offense back in the flow. So we talked about it. We talked over it right before we went out, and some guys saw some things, and it's pretty much exactly what we did. I think Chuck had a pole goal on the power play, which was nice. So, it definitely sparked a little juice, especially in the crowd.
I'm going to go Jess and Rachel. Yeah.
Coach, you talked a little bit about the crowd getting into it, and at that point, you kind of feeling like the good old days were back. Can you talk a little bit about how this team draws on the great history of this program and will continue to going forward?
Yeah, to have the crowd be that loud, when it happens here in the Dome and the guys deliver like they did, there's nowhere better to play. The Dome is the greatest place to play games, and the teams have passed have won a lot of games in here, and and they've done things like this. Syracuse lacrosse is known for doing some spectacular things over the history of their program, and these guys, today that was as good as any of them, I thought. And there's been an awful lot of great teams that have won championships and done great things, and that comeback ranks right up there. And it was just fun to be a part of it. And again, that was one of the things I know Coach March was talking about, we talked about it, is, have fun out there. Play fast, have fun. And, that's old school Syracuse lacrosse. And that's what, we kind of dug into the history to bring back that have fun, play fast, fourth quarter to come up with the win.
Can we take 3 more when we start back?
Jimmy, first time you played these guys, no secret, you were pulled from the game. How much does it mean to you that in the second half of this game, you got a chance to atone for that and really put your stamp on the game?
Yeah, it was huge. I think obviously last game didn't go as we wanted, and today personally it didn't go how I wanted, but I never felt like I didn't have my confidence. Like the whole time I knew I was going to be ready to make a save if I needed. I didn't make as many as I liked, but it was huge to have the trust of Coach Gait, and Coach O, and Coach Aquaviva to stay in there and just battle. And I think we're one of the best teams at just battling. We're a hard-nosed group, and the guys really showed that today. So again, just all credit to the defense in front of me because it wasn't my best day, but they balled out in front of me.
Second to last from Brent, and then final from Matt.
For Jimmy and Owen, Coach's message has been, have fun. Calm is contagious. What's right in front of you, right? But when you're down 8-2 and you're struggling, it's not fun. How do you stick to that message? How did Gary's message throughout the year apply in a game like this today?
I mean, we got some good seniors in our locker room that kind of snapped the boys back into it at halftime. As I mentioned earlier, I think. Sam English, King Cole, those guys, all the seniors, they really stepped up, kind of making sure everybody's still calm, making sure everybody knows that we're still a good lacrosse team and we can go out here and still score goals and play defense. And then, I mean, it just comes from playing on the field. Like, as soon as you score that first goal in the third quarter, I mean, that's instantly you start having more fun.
Yeah, and I think to go off that too, like you get a guy like Caden Cole comes in on man down, we're losing and he's got the biggest smile on his face. Like, how can you not just be having fun with that guy? He's one of the best leaders I've had the pleasure to, play for and play with. And, when you look at your sideline in a game that isn't going your way at the start and all the boys are smiling, it just makes you smile and makes you want to make that next play so much more.
Final question, Adam.
Jimmy, what kind of adjustments did you guys make on the clear to go from the first half just 50% to being perfect in the second?
I think we just executed at a better rate. We trusted each other more, trusted the actual clear more. I think we kind of, weren't making the smartest decisions at the start, and then we breathed. We trusted ourselves, our athleticism, and our sticks, and we made the plays.
Yeah, I think the only other thing that really stands out is the ground balls. I know at halftime we were I think 17-13 in ground balls, and then we came out and dominated the second half in ground balls. So very proud of that. That's the grit that we need, and that's the grit that got us through the ACC. When we focus on things like ground balls and riding and clearing and doing all the little things that make a difference. So they did an amazing job to turn that around and really show the character of this team and the fact that when they put their mind to it, they can outplay you on loose balls and offense, defense, everything. So it was a great team effort.
Thank you, everybody.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.